Hey, what's up, my Dorito posters? Alright, now, coming down from the rafters to your house. Coming down from the rafters to your house. Yeah, that's right, I'm arriving. Alright, I'm always cheesy, never groovy. Oh wait, no. Actually, I'm always groovy, never cheesy. Sorry about that. Come on, stop getting tongue-tied, please. Schizophrenia, out of my way, please. Yeah, I'm always groovy, never cheesy. You won't get this from a chip. That's right, it's the Animati Super Show time. Alright, now, let's get to writing, huh? Alright, done. Alright, now, first off, I need to learn how to spell dungeon. Dungeon idea? Dungeon idea, let's see, let's see, which one do I want to use? Actually, I'll just call it dungeon idea, so why not? Alright, this dungeon resembles a casino and a house of pleasure of repute. That is that has colorful neon signs and gambling around most corners in the lobby. However, it is covered in a layer of darkness within darkness that awaits us all when we die. Okay, I need to write seriously, okay. Actually, alright now. A layer of darkness within darkness. Darkness within darkness awaits you. And bloodstains all across its red and black checkerboard marbled floor. In the distance, you can hear the sounds of slot machines and card shuffling. And as you advance into the House of Pleasure, you can hear the laughter. Alright now, hey pass, thank you. You can hear the laughter and sounds of sweet voices from the edgy demon bunny girls, which look appealing, only they are actually only when you see one, their skin is too white, their outfit is stained and red blood, and they have a face that looks like a bleeding void. Oh no. Also in the lobby and gambling area, you can there are cursed mechanical evil slot machines, possessed demonic cards. Alright, whoops, I kind of spelled demonic wrong. Alright, cursed demonic. Alright, now, whoops. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, that's proper spelling this time, please. Cursed demonic playing cards. Alright, and muscular, only like leather clad, bouncers. Yeah, every place like this, needs bouncers. Alright. Look at the bouncers armed with submachine. Alright. Bouncers. And shadowy armed mobsters that look like living evil shadows. Armed with Tommy guns. Yeah. Here is also a playhouse with demented evil luring performers. They perform things so enticing that you won't want to leave. Uh-oh. Alright, you remember the three skeletons, the skeleton trio in Chronicles of the Wolf, right? Yeah, it's a bit like that, only with, certain types of performers in these types of areas. That's right, that's why you're gonna watch them dance forever and ever until you die. I need an explanation what this shrimp pasta do. Yeah, I was just trying to be funny. I was just trying to be funny because you're the shrimp pasta, yeah. Yeah, I was just being funny. Yeah, basically it works like it basically is a food healing item and restores it basically restores HP, yeah. It basically is like a medium to high, HP restore, yeah, to a single target. Yeah, by the way, the tagline for the shrimp pasta is I am not a shrimp. I don't have the cursed posture. Shrimp, under that it's signed by Shrimp Pasta. Alright, does that explain what the shrimp pasta does? Oh yeah, I should also an evil demonic rabbit magicians who summon giant bloody monstrous eldritch killer bunnies. Oh no, killer bunnies! Oh no, look away, Annabelle. Alright, if Annabelle's here, tell him to look away. That's right, there's gonna be bunnies in the lore, and some of them are gonna be bad guys. But there are bunnies that are good guys in the lore. One of the magical girls is literally an Easter bunny. Yeah, I'm not kidding, by the way. I'm not kidding, by the way. That is in fact a thing in the lore. And possibly more. Yeah, I can't think of anything else at the moment. There is also a nursery full of killer. Alright, there's also a high stakes room where there are killer death knights on flying chess pieces. Murderous queens of hearts. And alright now. An evil loaded demonic dice. And billionaire skeletons. That attack with cursed monies. There's bunnies who look forward to playing with innocent life. Oh no. On a demented board game where the rules must not be broken or else. Also this place has killer neon signs that are giant neon cowboys. Oh no. Also, it is a place of temptation, where gambling and pleasure come at high costs, such as memories, your own hearts, or names, or bodies, or souls. And each game will try and tempt you to try and win big, or lose it all in a very, very, very bad way. After all, this place used to be owned by a famous mafia group, but has since become a den of evil monsters that once served here. Served here after coming under the influence of a mysterious new owner. The great evil of greed and avarice. A being that resembles both technology, games of chance, and golden jewels, and a demonic golden idol, golden horn idol, which is known as Mammon. Yeah, Mammon, if you don't know, it's like the great evil of, greed and avarice, yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very, dangerous and evil. Very, very evil bad guy, yeah. Who is one of the 8 great evils, who are the children of Lilith. Lilith, and one of the leaders of Legion. The ancient evils, born of otherworldly evil, that literally drew them into existence, using the power of Earthar's greed and avarice, and all the harm and evil it's done under the promise of more and more wealth and power. Yeah, so basically, alright, Mammon, it's kinda like the golden idol. I guess I could make it sort of like, kind of resemble, you guys ever heard of the golden calf? So shrimp is my equivalent to your Dorito. No. No. The Dorito thing is not true. You, however, are shrimp. There is no Dorito. The Dorito's not real. It was a trick and an illusion to defeat Lord Broccoli, okay? Just that one time. And, you know, SIN ran with the story because you know, SIN is an evil news organization literally run by a supervillain. Yeah, they're literally run by the great evil talking head. They're literally run by the great evil talking head, yeah. Alright, so what do you think of the dungeon so far anyway? Alright, what do you think of the dungeon so far, you know, Mr. Pass? Alright, does it sound like a cool place or what? Granted, it sounds like a pretty horrifying place. Alright, now, maybe I should change this. Alright, now, it's a place of temptation and gambling, pleasure come at the high cost, such as memories, your own heart, names, body, souls, to sell, the various evil entities, and crime figures. Various evil entities and crime figures. You know, that could really be anybody. That could really be anything, including like Lumina Knight. You know, you're alright now. Alright, Pass, you want to, you know, gamble away your soul and, you know, get sold to Lumina Knight, would you? I mean, of course you would, wouldn't you? Alright now, I think it's pretty done now. Nice. Alright, nice. Alright, the goal was basically to make a dungeon for one of the great evils, yeah. That's basically what I wanted to do here. Alright, Den of Dark Delight. Den of Dark Delights, yeah. Alright now. Alright, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, I'm onto you, you shrimp. I'm onto your shrimp ways. I'm onto you for shrimping. I'm onto your shrimp ways, you shrimp. Well, no. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Lumina Knight will probably turn you into a monster. Will probably, you know, turn you into a monster, you know, or, you know, hand you over to Dr. Blackflight, you know, turn you into a chimera. Or maybe you'll be turned, maybe you'll be turned into a zombie robot. Or she might literally give you to Dark Shuffle, and he might, you know, turn you into forced labor, and, you know, his you know, Amazon factory like place. Yeah, I mean, Evil Arts basically, you know, kind of works a little bit like Amazon, only it started off as like a game company. You know, not inspired by anything like EA or something, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, just because it shares the same, you know, first letters doesn't mean, you know, it's necessarily EA. Even though, you know, that's exactly what I had in mind. I swear that's not exactly what I had in mind. Yeah, that's to protect me from liability in case, you know, they want to sue. Alright. Let's get on with, you know, making more. Let's make some more. Alright, now. The Four Princess. Oh shit, where did I put my notes on the Four Princesses again? Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, now. Alright, the Four Princesses. There is... Alright, Princess... Alright, now I'm gonna name them a little bit like how... Malice cards are named. Alright. Princess I, Princess S. Alright, I will explain what the letters mean. Alright, Princess A. And Princess T. Princess Eye, Little Fox. Mm. The leader of the zone of delusion, which many life forms are associated with. Their true form is that they have the appearance. All right, now. Oh, whoops. Oh, excuse me. Oof. Sorry about that. They have the appearance of a fox-masked young woman, clad in a humble farmer's outfits, with a sickle at their side, and a bag of strange-looking grain on their back, and they can transform into a giant white fox-like, white and red fox-like entity. Alright, now, how do you spell gorgeous again? Alright, gorgeous. Oh, I think I got it. Gorgeous tails, a flowing earth-like clay red. Carrying the dream mirror in its head, which allows it had one of the 4 sacred treasures, which gave people dream space, and thus soul and a way to develop their talents within themselves, and also give them will and spirits inside of themselves, and the power to connect to each other via dream space, which can be used for good and to assist one another. Little Fox's presence makes flowers and plants bloom, which they can control for both prosperity. Whoops, I think I spelled that wrong. Prosperity and blessings, and also fertilize. Alright, whoops, I spelled fertilize wrong. Fertilize the earth, which it calls home. Which and fertilize the earth. Though they can also control both both in order to fight the forces of evil, such as such as being similar to it, or the things born of Scrawler, or more earthly forces born of the minds or wills of humans. Alright, that's just a bit of a basic rundown on that. Alright, now I should probably come up with something for, the S1. Alright, that's like flowers. Alright, moon. Let's see, alright now, A was bird. Alright now, and next one should be, you know, associated with some sort of wind. Alright, yeah. Alright, now let's see what we can come up with for Princess S. Alright now, April. April, the matron of showers and storm winds. Alright now. Right now, which one was this again? Alright, water. Now, she has a sword. And she rules over swords and winds. Alright, so which one would be? I rated Illusion, Amaterasu is gonna be the fantasy again. Alright, yeah, that one's gonna be Nightmare. So this one would be reality, yeah? Alright, yeah, okay, I remember now. Alright, the zone of reality. Which many life forms in the known universe of Earth I and its various bubbles and its various worlds are born. Are born or associated with. And April's appearance seems like a strange girl clad in a yellow rain jackets and rain jackets and boots with a hat and an umbrella, and she has the power to control winds, rains, and storms. In a moment's notice, which can bring relief, and warmth, or bring destruction to the forces of evil. He wields the Vorpal sword, which is the mother of all mediums, from which every medium in the known universe, including her own, is derived from, and as such gave them the ability to be tools to channel through arts, through the power of imagination, in order to do good, though it can be used for destructive purposes as well. Alright now. By the way, April's appearance, it's gonna be some raining April showers. Yeah. Yeah, it's also based on this one, book that I saw, in high school library quite a long time ago. Yeah, which was, how to draw angels, yeah. And, one of them, was basically called April. So I decided, I would, make it. Coincidentally, that kind of leads, into one of my other ideas, yeah. Yeah, alright now, the S in this one, stands for Susano. Oh yeah, I should probably explain that the I in, the other one kind of stands for Nari. Yeah, they're kind of a little bit inspired by the Greek gods, but not quite them, no. They're a bit different, yeah. Alright, now Princess A. Alright, now Princess A is the one, that's based on birds. And, fire. Alright, now, alright, that one was not the one I was not sure of. Alright, Princess A was the one I wasn't quite sure of what to do. Hold on, let me see if I can find... Alright, now, I'm pretty sure I had notes on that somewhere. I think there's somewhere on DeviantArt, maybe? Alright, gotta be careful on DeviantArt because there is a lot of, not safe for work stuff on there. There is a lot of, not safe for work stuff on there, not gonna lie. I don't think it's here. I think it was in my, oh, whoop. That's not what I want. Alright, that is not what I want. Whoop, yeah, please just ignore that. Alright, now, let's see, I think it's under posts. Creative writing. Alright, now, dungeon idea. I'll try looking on the next page. Alright, I know it's around here somewhere. Alright, I swear it was around here somewhere. Ah, here we are. Oh yeah, now I remember. Okay, I remember now. Alright, I remember what I was gonna do, yeah. Okay. Alright, Aurora of the Daybreak. The leader of the Zone of Fantasy, which many things in the universe of Earth and all its various worlds in each zone are associated with and gain power through through imagination of humanity from using the gifts of the divine. Aurora of the Daybreak resembles a small little bird. Red, orange, gold, gold and blue fiery feathers. Who carries the paintbrush, a fairy in its mouth, which is the thing that's using human imagination and divine will was used to create the world canvases and bring a connection to each and every one of the worlds and their borders, as well as paints the physical form and grants power and physical form and manifestations to all life in the known universe. Aurora's powers allow her to generate both healing arts and the power of the phoenix flame. which it shares with its physical manifestations that are a shard another shard of itself in various realities, such as within Phoebe. Alright, Phoebe's gonna be a pretty important character in the lore because, you know, she's kind of not only associated with, you know, a Road to Daybreak, but, you know, is basically like a Phoenix Monster Girl, sort of. I mean, not with the Monster Girl traits that are like, you know, the ones that, you know, are like that, but no. She's more like a humanoid, you know, in Phoenix traits, basically, yeah. She's also pretty important in, like, the Tulpa War. She's also pretty important in the Tulpa War, you know, with, you know, Father Dole. As well as the second Tulpa War. Which, you know, occurs in Inimati's timeline which occurs in Inimati's timeline in the collective unconscious. That's gonna be kind of important. Yeah, basically what happened in the first time is you had Phoebe. Alright, now and also Phoebe, you know, also had a part in, you know, the three-sided war. Which the three-sided war was, you know, basically a war between the Boogeyman and also the man-eating plants and the killer clowns. And yes, there's man-eating plants and killer clowns. And yes, the killer clowns and you know the man-eating plants are both aliens. I did explain that Sarah Speech, you know, basically came from the same world as, you know, as the man-eating plants, but, you know, the man-eating plants kind of took over his world, yeah, basically. Yeah, basically the world of plants, you know, basically was, like, very peaceful and all that until basically, like, the man-eating plants kind of took over and turned the plants itself into a giant man-eating plant because, you know, some weird scientist, you know, made an alert, you know, basically abused it, and, you know, was gonna use it for himself, and, you know, she didn't like that, kind of murdered him, and, you know, basically, you know, she went out and became the leader of all the man-eating plants, you know, who basically worship her. Yeah, and she's also kind of responsible for, you know, killing Ceres's bomb, as well as, you know, turning her dad turning Sarah Speech's dad into the Mandrake. Which, you know, is another villain. Yeah, the Mandrake is basically a villain that basically is like that's basically based on, you know, the Mandrakes and plenty of fictional worlds, you know, madness-inducing scream and all that. Yeah. Funny enough, Valerians are basically, you know, Mandrakes too. Yeah, they're basically Mandrakes too, but, you know, they kind of, but they're kind of, you know, they're like, kind of like, you know, Mandragoras that are bred with, like, witches and prostitutes and stuff. Which is basically how the Valerian in my lore was basically made. Hooray for unethical experimentation, guys. Oh yeah, and also there are killer clowns, and they kind of fell under the leadership of, you know, the Butcher, because they kind of fell under the leadership of the Butcher, and, you know, the Queen. They kind of fell under the leadership of the Butcher. And you see the Butcher back then, you know, had gotten more powers, you know, due to the Restaurant War arc. You know, where he kind of gained meat magic. You know, from you know, stealing a recipe that, you know, turned out to be basically written in, you know, talent crystal. Yeah, there are talent crystals in the lore. They're basically a way to pass on true arts, you know, to other people. Yeah. and basically the Butcher, you know, and basically you know, the Butcher was, you know, and basically the Butcher had become, you know, sort of like a mascot that sort of like is a mix between the King and Ronald McDonald. And, you know, the killer clowns kind of like that. And, you know, the killer clowns also, you know, go to other worlds and, you know, go around to other worlds and, you know, basically eat meat, and they were kind of dying off. And, you know, the Butcher was like, hey, I'm gonna help your people if you know, could become my army and all that. So, yeah, that became a really big problem. And, of course, there's also the Boogeyman. They kind of, you know, resent you. They're kind of also spawned from Tulpamancy, just like, you know, things like Indamati is, but, you know, they kind of have a lot of resentment to, to topple descendants such as fairies, because boogeymen were basically made from, fear and, phobias and all that. So basically they were shunned and, heavily, and, feared and mistreated by humans. Which led to the boogeyman of darkness basically becoming very resentful towards, the ones that were more loved and all that. As well as, of course, wanting to get revenge on humanity for basically neglecting him and his people. So that's kind of part of what Phoebe's deal is. Yeah, she fought a three-sided war against all of them. They were basically fighting each other to basically try and get this one crown that could basically grant three of any wishes. That basically, basically a dead tyrant, kind of left behind, but they kind of, made a huge dungeon to try and protect it. And they were all fighting each other to try and get it, for their own ends. Yeah, that was kind of, way before Lumina Knight would, get involved in, that's way before, Lumina Knight would be around, yeah. Lumina Knight was, more around during, Enemi's timeline, yeah. But yeah, they were kind of causing trouble with each other back then, yeah. Yeah, Lumina Knight was able to eventually, get them to reconcile, work together with her, because she basically promised that they could all get what they wanted, if they worked with her, because, she kind of stole the world canvases, you see. So that's basically what happened there. Yeah, alright, now, that's basically part of, Enemi's, timeline. Alright, I should probably continue with the lore, yeah. I'm really sorry about that tangent. Really, really sorry, yeah. Alright, oh right, yeah, I remember now. Dreamer of the Starlight. Dreamer of the Starry Sea. Alright, she's the leader of the Zone of Nightmare. Which is a spooky and haunted place where many beings are associated with and born with the formation and power of imagination from. And Stella's appearance is like that of a little flying star in her true form. Though she appears as a young maiden crowned in stars and clad in an outfit resembling the starry night sky, and a crown, and being the original master of the White Moon Staff, that Endamati would go on to inherit, which was originally her medium. That was passed down to Luna before Endamati awakened it. Yeah, basically the White Moon Staff was basically Lumina Knight's, and basically the White Moon Staff was in Luna's possession for quite a while. Gathering the power of the moonlight, even though part of the moon's power, was kind of stolen by Sariel. And alright, well, come on now, get the character straight, please. Yeah, Endamati would go on to awaken it because Luna would awaken inside of Endamati's dream space, basically. So that Endamati would basically inherit the power because Endamati, originally she was a half fairy, so she kind of had a problem with some of her arts, her arts kind of being sealed, to put a curse on humanity and their tulpomancy. And their true arts. You know, it's kind of a whole big deal. It's kind of a whole big deal that's kind of involved with the Box of Evils incident, basically, yeah. And those with, you know, human blood inside of them, yeah. Which is why half fairies are, you know, originally considered to be weaker than, you know, true fairies, yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, that's part of, you know, how Endemati would get the White Moon Staff, and, you know, it would become hers, basically. And attune itself to her. Yeah, it's basically from Stella, yeah. Also, Stella wields. Alright, Stella also wields a sacred treasure. Yeah, the White Moon Staff is not a sacred treasure, it's another medium, yeah. It's kind of derived from, you know, the Vorpal Sword, because the Vorpal Sword is kind of it's kind of like the mother and template of, you know, basically every medium ever. Yeah, basically. The sacred treasure known as the Holy Grail. Oh no, not the Holy Grail. That's gonna start the Holy Grail Wars. Which rules the power of communion and unity. And unity between life for good or for bad. Unfortunately, for bad, and can be used to awaken the power of friendship, and work together to overcome difficult trials in life, or become the difficult trials by working together. Against others. Yeah, the reason, you know, why the sacred treasures, you know, have powers that basically can be used for, you know, evil and misuse is basically, they're basically just divine gifts that basically are, you know, by themselves, you know, meant in the name of peace and, you know, obviously, and, you know, for good, but, you know, they basically gave a bunch of gifts to basically everybody, every being in the, you know, basically known universe of Earth-I. Yeah, and you know, that's basically why, yeah, and since, you know, not everything is necessarily nice in, you know, Earth-I, you know, including things that are like the Four Princesses as well. Since, you know, there are Celestials that are villains in the lore, yeah. Yeah, basically, that's part of the reason why yeah, basically, some people are misusing the gifts that, you know, they were given, yeah, basically, by those sacred treasures, yeah. Alright, I think I got Stella, you know, down, pretty much. Alright, let's see, how much time do we have? Oh, shit. No. Oh, man. Alright, I better alright now. Alright now. Alright, yeah, alright now. And could you hurry up with, you know, publishing? Alright, seems to be bugging out a little bit. Alright, here we go. Alright, finally. Alright, so that's basically the Four Princesses, basically. Alright, I'm very glad to be able to, you know, get that done. And of course, doing, you know, 22 Celestial Warriors will basically be an even bigger challenge. Which will probably require multiple streams to get through. I'm not sure I even have an idea for each of them, but, you know, I kind of want them to be kind of based on, you know, Arcana. Alright, now, and we'll submit that. Alright, nice. Alright, nice. I got 2 done. Alright, I got 2 of the things done I wanted to do for today. Alright, now let's move on to... Alright, I think I have enough time to do one more thing. Alright, now 4 waifus. I mean, 4 waifus, yeah? I mean, one of them, alright now, a couple of them are, you know, basically, you know, are basically like celestial animals. And like, you know, Stella's true form is actually a little star, and she's not human either. Yeah, she just appears as one. I mean, technically speaking, they can all appear as humans. Technically speaking, they all can appear as humans, but you know. Some of their true forms are, their true forms are not stuff that's humans, basically. Basically, they're all celestials, yeah. Why, even their quote-unquote true forms might not be their true forms, because, basically they're, like, eldritch in nature, yeah. Alright, now, yeah, sorry about that, Past. I know how you guys like that sort of thing, but, that's not always true, unfortunately. But I guess you could try them. I guess you could try to wife and I guess you can try to wife them if you can. All right. All right now. All right. Wait. Faceless All right. Faceless bunny girl. All right now. This creature is a humanoid feminine entity with pale skin and wears a blue bunny suit with bunny ears and fishnet stockings and blood red glamorous heels. And looks very lovely and inviting. Has a sweet, almost hypnotic voice. Compelling you to give in to your desires and want for pleasures of the world. But its face is actually a dark, hollowed out void that looks bloody and terrifying. That looks bloody and terrifying. Oh yeah. So alright now, this thing is alright now. It is actually a low-level soldier of Legion. And a monster that serves Red Moon under Lumina Night. Being a red ink entity. Red ink entity created by the evil entity known as Scrawler. Scrawler when he got his hands on Earth R's originals. Whoops. I misspelled original. Original script, and defaced it, and brought monsters like this to life. Yeah, so, alright now. To explain what Scrawler is, alright, so basically explain what Scrawler is, basically Scrawler is, like, completely average. Alright, Scrawler and the creator, like, actually is super completely average in their world, and, don't really have too much power, but, they do have the power to basically make, basically beings in that world, basically have the ability to make living art, which, allows them to basically make, entire, imagined universes, which is, how Earth, which is, basically, the creator's, creation was Earthite, basically, yeah. And Scrawler was basically their spoiled younger brother who kind of, grew up to be a rotten adult, and, Scrawler used to be like a golden child, and then he got kind of kicked out because, his parents kind of realized he was kind of abusive and, cruel. So he became a drunk degenerate and, basically broke into the creator's studio and kind of, burned and destroyed a few of the artwork and also vandalized it by using the red pen, which was one of the creator's tools, and used it to basically deface it and, create a whole bunch of monsters. You know, and that's basically how Lilith and, you know, all, and, you know, the Great Evils and also all of the members of Legion got made, basically, yeah. So that's basically the explanation behind that, yeah, right. Alright now. Alright now. This creature is a servant of the great evil of obsession and lust known at a great evil of obsession and lust, and serves as a minor enemy. Serves as a minor enemy. However, it does possess the ability to charm enemies and drain them of their life, or should they give in and rob them of their will, while leaving them in a broken, corrupted, and drooling state while it keeps visiting and making them prisoners to its will, before completely leaving them drained and hollowed out corpses. Yeah, kind of similar to Catherine a little bit, but, you know, minus the Dream World stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit different than a Succubus, though. Yeah, basically a great evil obsession, unless it's basically, it's basically a Schumann-Freud, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, that's what its name is. Yeah. Yeah, of course, the great evil obsession, unless would be behind something like this. Uses Crush Heal to deal physical elements once damage on a martial arts, and can cast charms of the abyss to charm an enemy with dark element stats. Dark enemy with a dark element status move. Finally, it uses energy vampire to steal HP and MP from an enemy. That inflicts psychic element magical damage. Alright, yeah. Right now, it is a dark psychic elements creature, and is aligned with Void, and is associated with the zone of delusion. Of course, it would be. Whoops, I spelled delusion wrong. Of delusion, and is weak to light. Alright, and it's weak to light, and it's weak to light, spirits, and psychic. Yeah, ironic that it's weak to light, psychic, despite being psychic itself. Yeah, alright now. Yeah, the elements are a little bit more like that, are a little different than, what you usually would think of. Alright, I think we've done. Alright now. Alright now, that's good. Alright, I will put that into my story, since that is part of it. Alright now, let's get that. Alright now, let's get that submitted. There we go. Nice. Nice work. Nice work if I do say so myself. Which I do, honestly. Which technically speaking I do. Alright, now I would love to do more, and you know, I did originally plan for more, but you know, actually, maybe I might do more later. So, you know, I have to cut it off for right now, unfortunately. I don't have a lot of time. But thank you for listening, and thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you had fun. Oh wait, I should probably... Alright, first off, I should probably change the scene. You know, that way I will be avoiding, you know, Twitch copyright. That way I'll be avoiding, you know, Twitch copyright. Although I'm not... Alright, now, let's see. Alright, now... Oh, I see some people, you know, playing Digimon. Alright, now, Alright, raid... A under... Whoops. Alright, now, A Fallen... Oh, I think I got that right. Alright, now. Please join me in the raid, please. Please join in the raid, yeah. Alright, they're playing Digimon Time Stranger, so I thought you might like to see that. Since, you know, I obviously like Time Strangers as well. Alright, whoops. Okay, Moonbat raid, there we go. Moonbat raid, there we go. See you later, goodbye.